Welcome to Porch Play Chats, sponsored by the American Association for Promoting the Child's Right to Play, or more affectionately called IPA-USA. IPA-USA is the USA affiliate of the International Play Association. You can find more about them at ipaworld.org and about IPA-USA at IPAUSA.org. As part of our efforts to promote play, we started these Porch Play Chats, which are conversations with folks who are just as passionate about play as we are. You can, and that would be Richard, yes. And so, if you want to find all the Porch Play Chats, you can go to our website at IPAUSA.org. Up in that top right-hand corner is a link to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. Be a friend on our Facebook page. And every Monday, just like magic, a new Porch Play Chat appears in your feed. I'm Deb Lawrence, and I'm the president of IPA-USA. And with me on the porch is Richard Cohen. Hi, Richard.
Hello. Hi, Deborah. Hello, everybody.
We're so glad to see you again. So Richard's
so great to be back here.
I know, and I love our conversations. Richard's been a proud member of the early childhood profession for more than 40 years. So he and I are really like about the same time period. He's been an infant teacher, toddler teacher, preschool teacher, kindergarten teacher, and a center director. Me too. He served as a national and international early childhood leadership positions, and he happily teaches at a community college in Connecticut, just like me. So there is a career path in early childhood education.
Except Richard, you're not in Connecticut.
No, I'm not. I
am
in
Pennsylvania.
Yes, very, very good point. Richard,
where are you, Deborah?
Keep me honest. Richard also delivers keynote addresses and sessions at early childhood conferences all over the world. He has a large social media following on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You know, I have not gotten into Twitter. We do have an Instagram, and bless Emma Tempest Hart. She's the one that helps us with that.
Oh, that's great.
I know, thank goodness. So today we're talking about lessons learned by teaching others about play.
Yeah. So this one came up because in the last two conversations, I don't remember how many times you and I have chatted now, but we recognize that we both teach community college, early childhood. By the way, where are you located, Deborah?
It's Delaware County Community College in Media, Pennsylvania, right outside of Philadelphia.
Okay. All right. So we're both sort of East Coasters.
Yeah.
But so we've mentioned in a few of our chats that that we both teach community college and that we have needed to come up with some unique ways of engaging our community college level students in really understanding and embracing play. And so I had been reflecting on that after our conversations and thought, well, wouldn't that be a good topic for Deb and I to chat about? I bet perhaps we've had some similar experiences and learned some similar or different lessons. So that's why I suggested this topic for today.
Great.
So I know you're interviewing me, but I'm going to start by asking you a question.
Okay.
And we'll just go. So, I mean, it's a broad question, but as you think back, how many years have you been teaching community college or teaching adults about play?
2004.
Okay, a long time.
Long time.
And me too, a long time.
A very long time.
About 7 years for community or 8 years for community college, but have been doing, you know, in all my travels and those conferences, been teaching early childhood professionals about play for, 30 years.
Oh, yeah. Something. Oh, yeah. 40 years. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yes. Okay. Right.
So we have a lot of experience of heading into, or setting an intention of teaching adults, not children, about play. And you and I probably both had to come up with some unique skills to ensure that we were effective. So I'm curious, so let's just chat and we'll bounce off of each other. What have you learned in this journey, and what are some of your strategies?
So we play in the classroom, but one of the things that I found is really important is to build off their prior knowledge and their own experiences, right? So if we're introducing play, and in some of my community college, we have a diverse range of people who come to community college, which is wonderful. but some of my younger students who are just out of high school really never had a chance to play.
That's right.
And so we have to sort of peel away and get them to remembering some of those play experiences that they had. So if I can get them to remember their favorite place to play, or if they during the summer, I say, go to the summer, what did you do? And I can sort of tease out those memories for them, then I can build on those memories and we can start talking about why play is so important. So that's one of the big lessons. If I can make it relevant, meaningful, which we all know is important, no matter the age.
Right.
If I can make it relevant and meaningful and related to their own experiences, then they're more engaged and participate.
Mhm.
How
So
about
how do you
you?
do that? Like through a facilitated discussion in the first week of class?
Yes, so we really just start every time a new sort of, content comes up, I'll say, what do we already know about this, and do that sort of KWL thing so I can
Yep,
build
just
on
like
that
we do
prior
with young
knowledge.
children. Yep.
Yep, just like we do with young children. So, and the other thing for those of you who are not community college professors or college professors, these are still great strategies to use with your staff
Absolutely.
because you have to get them, you have to figure out where they are, just like with children, and then you have to scaffold them to where you need them to be. And so these sort of strategies are something that's really important. But then we also play, right? So um, when it's physical development for in child development, we go outside and I take tons of stuff outside and we play. And then we come in and reflect on what we learned through that play. What cognition did we use? What social stuff did we use? What emotional stuff did we use? What physical stuff did we use? What language did we use? And then they begin to see how play is just all encompassing of all areas of development. So
Can
those
I jump
sorts
in
of,
with a question for you?
yeah,
So are you saying that at your community college, you have an outdoor play space?
we have an outdoor green space that I make into a play space.
Got it.
Right? So we have the parachute and the sidewalk chalk and the footballs and the
Mhm.
basketballs and the tennis balls and the Chinese jump ropes and the real big jump ropes. So we can do this and um, bubbles. You wouldn't believe how happy they
Right.
are with bubbles.
Yeah.
And um, jacks. And I had to teach some of my students how to play jacks. They were
I'm
like, I've
sure.
never played this before. And I said, well, come over and we'll play together.
Right.
And so it's those sort of experiences, in child development, after we've talked about prenatal development, we
Mhm.
give birth to a ping pong, which is hysterical.
Which is
They,
what?
it's hysterical
Oh,
because they have to get a balloon. So I give them a balloon and they have to stretch the neck of the balloon and they have to insert their ping pong ball. And then we blow it up about 3/4 of the way and they have to turn it upside down so the ping pong ball seats in the balloon. And then we start our contractions, right? We do Braxton Hicks for a while and nothing happens. So then we start and we talk about the 4 stages of labor, blah, 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 blah. And the screams,
right.
because the ping pong ball just pops out eventually. It's hysterical.
Right.
But now they understand the 4 stages of labor and delivery because
Mhm.
they're actually experiencing it. So we do all sorts of stuff like that
Right.
in the classroom that engages them in the content that they need to get,
Mhm.
but is also fun and playful.
Okay. Now I have another follow-up question for you. And
Oh
then
no, because I
I,
want to hear what you
I
do.
know I'll say my stuff, but and we can talk about this together, this topic, but I know you and I both feel strongly about this, and so I can guess your reasoning why, but some of the folks watching this may not know. Why do you take them outside? Wouldn't it be easier to just let them play inside?
Yeah. So we do play inside,
Yeah.
but we also take them outside because
Yeah.
lots
Why?
of times they didn't have a lot of experiences outside.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And
Yep.
so, they were inside with technology because this is, if they're the younger generation, um, the older generation are like, oh, I haven't done this in years. And, one of the ones I let them play, they choose what they want to play with. They can play with anyone they want. They can go anywhere they want within the green space. And fortunately, security now knows when I'm out there, they're like,
Yes.
okay, it's the crazy lady who lets
Yep.
kids play. But I think the most powerful thing is at some point in time, like maybe 35 minutes, because our classes are 55 minutes, 35
Oh,
minutes in, I'll say, who wants to play with the parachute? And so all of them will come over with the parachute. We do all the fun parachute games.
yeah.
And we came in, we clean up then, and then the class is over. And we came in the following Wednesday, the next day we met, and I did the whole, here's the domains of development, what do we do in each of these? And one of the students said, I was in such a bad mood when I came to school.
Right.
After we played, I had a great day. And I'll say, so what does that tell us? And they said, we need to let children play. And so, that's the beginning, but we do play inside too. But one of my other favorite ones is I go get paint chips, poor Home Depot and Lowe's. They see me coming and cringe because I get all the free paint chips, the
Me
paint
too.
sticks. I
Oh,
do,
yeah.
yeah. They're like, oh my God, there she comes again. And so I have a huge stack of them. And when we're doing sensory experiences or when we're doing math focused, but still integrated, but math focused or something, I throw the paint chips out on the table, and when the weather's nice, and I say, pick a paint chip and go find me something outside that matches each one of these three paint chips.
Yep.
And they are squealing, running around crazy, helping each other, and they come in and they go, I can't believe how easy that was. I said, nature provides so many wonderful things for
Exactly.
us. And so anyway, those are, again, to get them outside.
Right.
So,
Okay. So let me just sum up some of the big points I heard you say. One, we need to reconnect adults with any bits of play they might have had as a child and help them bring those memories to the forefront. And we both believe it's important to bring them outside. We play inside and outside, but there's something really visceral and primal and just open-ended and sensory, all senses possible outside, more so than inside. And especially if they haven't had experiences of that, I think it falls to us to A, reconnect them with their childhood memories, and B, begin to connect them with the value of being outside. And that's a whole other conversation we could have about the neurology of outdoor spaces and young children. There's so much we know now that we always knew, but now we have scientific proof.
Right. Now we have evidence that
Exactly.
it's so important that we get them out.
Right. Exactly.
So
So one of the things, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, so what do you do in the classroom to be playful and to help them?
Well, everything that you just described, but the other thing that I do, a million years ago, I got certified in guided imagery exercises. So I do a lot. I did my whole master's thesis on an early childhood guided imagery exercise where I take them back to their childhood homes, and it's really powerful. And so before we have that facilitated discussion about their childhood memories of play, I let them, close their eyes and relax and really kind of try to swim toward those memories and see what comes up for them. And so I give them that sort of immersive experience using their imaginations, and then we open our eyes and talk about it. And that, for me, seems to be really powerful. Yes, we, as you said, we do a lot of playing in around all different subjects, not just about play. Because, I think I've said it in this Porch Play Chat before, but my mentor was Elizabeth or Betty Jones at Pacific Oaks when I went there. And she wrote the wonderful, wonderful book, Growing Teachers, which was transformative for me. And in there, in the very beginning, she said that when we are working with adult early educators or in preparation roles like community college, everything we do, or even in professional development, everything we do should be a metaphor for what they are doing with young children. And we need to be explicitly helping them notice that and make those connections between their own experience in the present moment and what that would look like when they're in charge of, when they're facilitating a group of young children. So the playing with my students is really important in helping them notice, what were you feeling? What were you thinking? The piece you said about, so that play experience, how did that support your development in each of the domains? That's a different and equally important conversation. And I try to make my courses as experiential as possible every step. I'm always thinking, what can I do to give them a variety of things, but among them, a sense of empathy for young children. I want them to have their own feeling and notice it and name it, so that when they're with young children, they can remember that feeling and hopefully apply it to their moment, their present moment with young children. I was going to ask you, although I think we kind of covered it. Why do you think it's so hard for, when we're with 3-year-olds and we want them to play, they're 5 steps ahead of us. There's no challenge. Mm-hmm. What happens to us such that as adults, we come so far away from it, and it becomes almost scary and intimidating to so many folks I've worked with?
What is really interesting, because that is truly what happens. They feel very uncomfortable, right? They're looking around. So I know Walter Drew and the play experience that they do, which is a wonderful 3-hour experience at conferences. And if you haven't gone to one, you need to. It's a life-changing, absolutely experience, right? So during COVID, the nightmare, they did virtual ones. And so you were only playing for 15 or 20 minutes. And through the grad courses that I teach at Champlain College, we invite them in the leadership course to do this virtual play experience. And so because I don't have 3 hours in the classroom and I don't want to rush them, I do that virtual play experience using the same beautiful music and give them, they can choose any materials they want to play with. And the classroom is rich with materials because we have a demonstration classroom, and they can play for like 35 minutes. And it takes them a while. Even though they've selected the materials, they can go anywhere in the room they want to play. It takes them a while. They're very self-conscious. They're like looking around. I'm ignoring them. Right. My back is to them, absolutely ignoring them. And I'm doing other stuff while I'm listening to this beautiful music. And then it is amazing what they do. And they're so into it and they're so excited. So then we talk about those feelings. And where did you go when you were playing for the 30 minutes? Where were you in your mind? And they go, oh, I was remembering a time when, and it's all beautiful, loving, wonderful, playful memories. And they tell their story about their own play experience. And we begin to, I say, so what do you think children would get from that? And they go, oh, they'll just be in their own little world. They'll just be thinking through things that have happened. And it was so peaceful. I didn't have to rush. I didn't feel like I was hurried. And I'll say, so what's important when we offer large periods of time for children to direct their own play? And then we list what we need to think about intentionally when we do that. They get to play where they want. They get to choose their own materials they need to play with. They get to play for an extended period of time. And they're like, oh, I get it. I get it now. Mm-hmm. So again, it's that experience. They have to do it, right? Mm-hmm. Just like children need to do it.
Right. And I want to mine some of the, I know you're supposed to be interviewing me, but I'm fascinated to hear your thoughts too. Yes, NAEYC says young children need a minimum of 45 to 60 minutes minimum of uninterrupted play.
Mhm.
And I think the only way to help people new to the profession or even working in the profession understand that and embed it in a meaningful way is to actually give them that amount of time to play, and then to help them reflect, as you said, on, so, what was happening in the other thing that I do in my mentoring is I do metacognitive mentoring. So
Mhm.
I'm never talking about their behaviors. I'm helping them notice their thoughts and feelings that come right before the behavior. So I'll say, what were you, and I tell them all of this in advance. So what were you thinking and feeling, 5 minutes in? And what were you thinking and feeling 35 minutes in? And help them really notice that experience. Because you have to give, as you say, we have to give everyone time to accept the invitation into play and give themselves permission to be immersed in it. It takes
So
time.
I have to tell you what they say after that play experience is they say, when can we play again?
Always.
Always.
Mhm.
And I say, so what does that mean with children? So
Right.
they need to play often, frequently
Mhm.
during the day, long periods of uninterrupted time. So then we build daily schedules that allow for that. And we talk about the
Right.
things that can't be child initiated. And, so all of that sort of is pieced together in the construct of understanding how it all fits together.
Mhm.
But I do find it fascinating that they're so hesitant at first and feel so self-conscious. But then once you give them the freedom and you're not judging what they did and they get to talk about it, then it becomes a pleasant experience for them. And
Another thing that I thought you said that was just so brilliant, and I want to just highlight for folks, is our role in other people's play is to be the facilitator. We're not teaching. There are moments when we're teaching them some concept, but mainly we're facilitating, and just embracing being a facilitator instead of a teacher has also transformed my professional life for 40 years. And so, but some people think facilitating means being right there, and that scaffolding means asking them the next question. But what you did by not even looking at them and just enjoying the music, people might think, well, she looks like she's not doing her job. But what I hear in that is it's very skilled facilitation. You're very intentionally not interacting with them. And even though they might think, why is she ignoring me? I hear that as really skilled. One of the many ways that facilitation shows up is to not interact with young children or adults or whoever, and take that leap of faith that they'll get it on their own. I don't have to control this.
right. And I think and how disruptive is it when people are and I walk the classroom. I don't know about you, but my brain doesn't work unless I'm moving. And so I walked the classroom during the entire class, right? But I didn't. It was an intentional, you're
Right.
going to stand, and that was hard. You're going to stand still and you're not going to look at them. And you're going to be doing other things that are not disruptive
Mhm.
because I didn't want them to feel self-conscious. I wanted them to be able to be immersed in that experience. And that's what the play experience did for me. Remember when they came around after you've been playing a while and they started taking pictures? And I was like wanting to protect what I'd done because, it's disruptive when people are walking around. So teachers need to be thinking about, are they disrupting play or are they facilitating without interfering? And so we also have to be really thoughtful. And sometimes we ask too many open-ended questions. We have to ask 10 open-ended questions an hour because that's what the rule is in our program. And so
Really?
I interfere with
There's a
children.
rule for a number of open-ended questions?
I don't know anymore, but there used to be when
Oh, wow.
open-ended questions became a big thing in certain nationally funded programs, they had to ask a certain number of open-ended questions every hour.
Okay, I'll just jump in and say, I find that horrifying.
Oh my God. And I would say, so you're interfering and disrupting what it is that would expand their language and their vocabulary, because you're stopping the play
Right. To
to
fill your
ask a
quota.
question. Yeah, yeah.
It's
So,
like
you
when
know,
you
I
get
think,
pulled over for a speeding ticket at the end of the month, and you know it's not because were speeding, but because the police officer has to fill their quota. It's just like that. It's insane. Now,
well,
let
and
me
it's
just
most
say for
often,
anyone listening that
yeah,
open-ended questions are incredibly important in
incredibly,
facilitating play. But if
yes.
someone with more power than you has given you a quota to fill, you've lost the ability to just be in the moment and flow and know when the right moment to ask a meaningful open-ended question is.
And
It's
the
so important.
authenticity, right? You've lost the authenticity
Exactly.
of the moment in
Oh,
there.
now I'm
So,
mad.
oh,
Thanks for telling me about that, Deb.
well, and you know, I worry, you know, when we talk about universal pre-K,
Yes.
I think universal pre-K is fabulous if it's not junior kindergarten, right?
Yep.
And it is,
And it will be.
yeah, because they want those outcomes, instead of understanding that the research shows us that there are outcomes when you allow children to initiate their own play, follow their
Right.
interests, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So, you
And
know,
they're
it's just,
proposed on the idea of standardization.
yes. And then you can't standardize. That's what happened with No Child Left Behind. Right?
Yep.
Nobody in their right mind who understood child development would say every third grader has to read by the end of third grade,
That's right.
or you lose money. It's just, it's ludicrous. Do we want them to? It's a fabulous goal, but not always possible. If you want that, you better go back to funding lots of prenatal care and
Right.
lots of
Yeah,
nutritional
100%.
programs.
We're kind of getting off the subject of play, but I'll just put in my 2 cents there, which is I am not in favor of Biden or any president's plan for funding universal pre-K. I am 100% in favor of funding childcare.
Mhm,
We need to be funding birth on, or if not prenatal. That's where
mhm.
the money needs to be for our economy and for the sakes of our children. To focus it just on pre-K, to me, is a tragic mistake.
Well, yeah, because what has happened in those first 3 years that you're not even paying attention to,
Right.
that's going to impact the rest of their lives. So,
Yep.
when we really think about the importance of play and the value of play and the techniques you can use, if you're a program director or a coordinator or a coach, to get people to recognize the value of play, they have to play. And you have to build on their prior knowledge. And you have to engage them in something that is meaningful and relevant to them. And you have to give them choice in time, right? So all of those elements have to come together, and you have to know where you're starting, right? So that's why I do that KWL sort of thing, because I want them to use that with kids so they don't teach them the same things over and over and over again, the stupid annual themes that we do.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So, you know, there's a lot to unpack there, but things that we really need to hone in on if we want to make a big difference. So that's, you have two professors' ideas of lots of ideas about how to help your staff or your students really get play. You can't just teach the theories. You have to let them do it and play. And the last thing I'll end with for this time, because I know you have to go teach,
Yes.
is that when we play outside, students who are not in early childhood education come out of the woodwork.
Right.
And they're, can I play? Can I play? Of course, absolutely. Join us.
Right.
Can I play? Can I play? College students that want to play. So we're going to start doing an annual play day.
Yes.
So that, and we're hopefully in the fall, it's when we'll start, when we're past hopefully most of COVID. And our student resource center is partnering with us. And so the early childhood people will be the facilitators out on the big greens.
Brilliant.
And we'll play all day so that kids can come and go based on their classes. And so there'll be centers set up outside plus anything else they want to do. So anyway,
I'm totally stealing that. That's brilliant.
yeah, we're really excited. And because they come out of the woodwork to play when we're out there.
Right.
Are you going to still be here in 2 hours? No, I'm sorry. We'll be back inside. Oh, I have to go to class, but I'd really like to come and play. And I say, you know what? We're planning something. So hang tight.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure interviewing you, Deb. Thank you for coming to my show.
I think we got this a little backward. But Richard, as always, you're a wealth of knowledge that needs to be shared all the time. So hugs, and I'll close this out. Don't leave yet. Okay. So to learn more about IPA-USA, please visit our website at IPAUSA.org. And until next time, keep on playing.